right here at WHPR 160 Victor Street. Happy Monday to all of you, and thank you so much for tuning in. The snow has snowed again, the winds are blowing, but we will weather the storm. What do I care how much it may storm? I've got my love to keep me warm. Thank you. This is Hood Research, and the show is Feedback. And I want to say good morning to all of you who are tuned in, and thank you so much for tuning in each Monday morning at 9 a.m. We are expecting a guest to call in, and we want to talk about Black history. This full month should be dedicated to Black history. Even though 365 days within American history, there's Black history, and we should always be concerned about our own history, our own information, sharing our own story with all who will listen, all of the young ones who need to grow up knowing about themselves and all that we have to be proud of. Good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Watson. Good morning to Barbara and to Ron and Vera and to Claire and Clementine and to Gladys, to Sam, and to Les, and all of you who tuned in. There are so many of you who support Hood Research, and we certainly do appreciate that. Dr. Beatty.
Yes, I'd like to send a shout out to Brother Shane. Saw him this weekend, young man. He's helping me with some of this computer knowledge as well as understanding, because he's an avid reader of our history. And so it always makes me feel good to have the youth. And I communicated with his mom. She's religious, and if you read Deuteronomy 28, you'll understand our bondage in America. Very deep passage. And also shout out to Gwen Renee, Cheryl D., Sheila Ragland, Brother Smith Bay. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. Brother Fred, and Sister Frida Washington. Just want to say that have your neighbors, family, friends, co-workers, neighbors tune in and have pen and paper handy for valuable information you may want to write down.
Absolutely. And know that Hood Research has a website, hoodresearch.org. We also have email, that's contact@hoodresearch.org. The telephone number for Hood Research is area code 248-234-2371. The telephone number for Hood Research again is area code 248-234-2371. We want you to know that within our website, we do have Facebook page and all of the other bells and whistles, and we want you to log on, put in your thoughts, your information. We encourage you to call us and share information that you may have. Something interesting. There are many little known facts in Black history. And one of the little known facts is George Crump, a man by the name of George Crump, invented the potato chip. Potato chips are enjoyed by so many, many people. And around 1866, he invented the potato chip. That's George Crump. Little known fact in African American history. Isn't that something?
You gotta love it. I love chips and hate them, because somebody had a little saying once there said, fries to the thighs and chips to the hips.
Oh my goodness.
And there's some truth to it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And for those who are thinking that in 2019 they want to do something not so serious, but something to start the reduction process. And something that has been recommended is that you eliminate flour. Start eliminating all of the bread in your life. Don't, and if you figure, I have to have it, well, make a sandwich with one slice of bread. How about that? No pancakes. Oh, my goodness, no pancakes.
In moderation.
Yeah. But as you eliminate bread from your diet, even at the end of 30 days, you will notice a difference. I have to say that there is a sad note in that Ms. Parks lost her father, and we do have a resolution that we want to read in honor of her father, Wardell Parks.
Hood Research Resolution of Respect. Willard Dean Parks Sr., also known as Drip, I like that, born on January 17, 1933, who departed on February 11, 2019. Mr. Parks was politically active in Highland Park and Hamtramck, Michigan in his early years. As a senior, he volunteered as a revolutionary organizer for several senior citizen complexes in Detroit and Hamtramck. He loved and cherished his family. Whereas in the providence of God, he has brought to a close the life of Willard Dean Parks. The officers and members of Hood Research feel that it is befitting to express their sympathy to the family during the passing of Willard Dean Parks. We commend you to him who knoweth best and will always do right. You have our sincere prayers. Be it resolved that we bow in humble submission to him who never makes a mistake, and remind the family to be encouraged by remembering this poem. When tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not here to see you, if the sun should rise and find your eyes all full of tears for me, I wish you won't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we did not get to say. I know how much you love me as much as I love you. Each time you think of me, I know you will miss me too. When tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by my hand. The angel said my place was ready in heaven far above, and that I would have to leave behind all those I dearly love. But when I walked through heaven's gate, I felt so much at home when God looked down and smiled at me from his golden throne. He said, this is eternity, and all I promise you today for life on earth is done. But here it starts anew. I promise no tomorrow, for today will always last, and since each day is the exact same way, there's no longing for the past. So when tomorrow starts without me, do not think we're apart. For every time you think of me, remember, I'm right here in your heart. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the family and a copy kept in Hood Research Archives, signed by Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research, Reggie Crawford, co-founder of Hood Research, and Henry Teutsch, assistant director. This day, February 18th, 2019.
Thank you. And we wish Godspeed to the family in their grief. You know, oh, okay. Go ahead. Oh, sure.
Yes.
Well, we are expecting a guest to call in because of the inclement weather. We're looking forward to have him call. And we have talked about contributions from the members of the American community. However, the African community has had many contributions, and he was going to share those with us. Okay, go ahead.
Hello.
Maybe this is our guest.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please? Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this our guest?
Yeah, Payamba and Wally Moo. I was just listening to Dr. Griggs.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
He filled in for us last Monday.
Uh-huh.
And we are very happy that you were able to join us this morning because this being African American month, as we should say, Black History Month, the month of February, there's so much information that needs to be shared. Information that has not been shared includes the inventions and creations by the Africans on the continent. And you had mentioned to me about the, I guess, the perception that is being put forth in this country that is still backwards on the continent, and that's just not a fact. Would you share that with us?
Yeah, there's so much. Well, first of all, I'd like to just interject a little thing. Dr. Griggs, I was listening to his comments on house Negroes and field Negroes, and that how the house Negro is viewed as a very sort of bad person. But actually, Uncle Tom, the character Uncle Tom was created from a real person called Josiah Henson. And when he was given a position of overseer, he would steal, chickens and pigs and stuff and take them out to the field, and so that the field Negroes would be more nourished. So he actually did he wasn't trying to separate himself as being better than them, but he was trying to help them because he felt that they could work harder if they were nourished.
Absolutely. I had also heard that within the kitchens, however the structures were built, there would be a hole under a cabinet or a table or something, and the cook would drop food down there, and the one of the slaves or enslaved Africans would go under the house and get that food and carry it back to the huts or cabins in which they lived as well. And actually, I encourage people to read the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, because it seems to me that the book was so successful that in showing that Uncle Tom was actually a very positive character in the book.
Yeah.
Helped a lot of folks and saved somebody's daughter and all of that. But the white community reversed it to make him seem as if he was less than.
Right. And that's the definition that we adopted and became popular. But she didn't. Miriam Beecher Stowe didn't intend it that way. She intended to show the humanity of the slaves from the slave narrative.
As a matter of fact, when she met Abraham Lincoln, he he was telling her that, oh, you're the little lady that has caused all of this havoc about how bad slavery is, and she's the one who had encouraged him to move forward and sign the Declaration of Independence. Of course, it was to make more money for folks,
Well, you mentioned Africans. I have a interesting. Actually, this was a young man. He was 9 years old, and he's still living now. His name is Richard Torere, and he invented what was called the Lion Lights. He's a Maasai. As you know, the Maasai are the ones that are renowned for their killing of the lions. But since the lions have become an endangered species, they don't want to kill them now. But the lions, they have to protect their herds. So he invented their flashing lights set up around the perimeter facing outwards, and they scare the lions away. He was 9 years old. He noticed that when he put torches up, and the flickering and moving lights scared the lions away. So then he started working with these lights, LEDs, and he created this whole system. And so the villagers started telling him to create them for them.
Wow.
So
that's kind of like a strobe light. That's what it sounds similar to.
So that when the lions see them, they think that they're lanterns or torches.
Oh, wow.
And then they're scared away from the perimeter, and that goes without harming the lions. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting, and he was born in 2000,
Oh,
and
wow.
he's a Maasai.
Hmm. Now, what location of the continent would you find the Maasai?
They're nomads, so
Okay.
and probably around Kenya.
Okay.
They
Okay.
travel. They're traveling
You're trying.
with their herds,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they became renowned in protecting them from the lion.
I see. Okay. Wow.
And let me ask you, sir, I believe they're also known for their, or are they known for their warrior attributes as well?
Well, of course, if you, if you can protect if you fight a lion hand to hand, hand to spear, you got to be
Yeah.
renowned. But I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them being a warrior type
Mm-hmm.
people. Uh, the only research that I've heard is about their nomad and that their protection of their herds and
Mm-hmm.
fighting off and that became a rite of passage
Okay.
to kill your lion.
Well, do you know what kinds of animals they herded with as they moved about?
Uh, I believe they were cattle.
Oh. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah.
Now, of course, one of the more um, renowned um, scientists from Africa because we think of African slave trade as they went over there and they found a bunch of savages in the woods and they gathered them up and brought them over here.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them had extensive expertise and talent.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I went to Penn Center.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was shown a lot of the cabins in the church down there that was built by the Africans that were enslaved because they had a technique for making concrete and a specific formula. And you could go down there and look at the buildings now and look at them closely, and you'll see the seashells
Mm.
that are within the concrete
Mm-hmm.
of the buildings that are built. And they built all the buildings that were
So
down
were
there.
they the ones that invented concrete?
Well, they had a form of concrete that they invented, but
Mm-hmm.
that was taken from them and they were brought over here, and that's why they built things, and they were given that task.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and they were engineers that when that's why the continent was so devastated from the taking of the slaves because they didn't just take laborers. They took their engineers, they took their scientists, all of these people, but they converted them. They gave them menial jobs when they got here.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them were experts in architecture,
Mm-hmm.
structure.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Tell us a little bit about Penn Central.
Penn Center, if you recall, Sherman marched to the sea. That was really pivotal turning of the Civil War. He's considered by the South to be a barbarian because he had scorched earth method. In other words, he just burned and moved, burned and moved, and he was striking fear into the residents because they wanted an end to the world or to the war because of the terror that he was bringing. But anyway, he marched straight to the sea. When he got to South Carolina, there were 20,000 slaves, and so the Confederates fled, and he freed with a field order. He freed the 20,000 slaves and gave them the land. Those are the people that we call the Gullah people or the Geechee people down there today. They have kept much of their culture alive, and a lot of them don't even trust us. They speak with a certain dialect and they have certain culture. But Penn Center is where, after he freed the 20,000 slaves, they needed people to come down and educate them. And their volunteers came down from Pennsylvania. That's why they call it Penn Center, named after the people that came from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that's the first black school teacher arrived there from Pennsylvania, and her name was Charlotte Portman. And they have trips to her down and plaques to her down there for being the first black school teacher.
That's Charlotte Porter
Charlotte Forten.
Fortin. Okay.
Yeah, it's F-O, let's see, F-O, I think it's F-O-R-T-E-N.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And another thing about Penn Center is that Dr. Wright, Dr. Charles Wright, who the African American Museum is named after, he spearheaded a drive to make that a state historical site, because that's the first place that the Emancipation Proclamation was read in public. So he formed a group here in Detroit called the Michigan Support Group, and we went down to South Carolina, and when he presented it to them, they said, they didn't take his word for it. They said, we have to do our own research. And that's when they came back and said, you might want to consider making it a federal historical site also, because not only did Sherman free the slaves and give them the land, but he also recruited whoever wanted to join the Union Army at that point, and 5,000 troops joined the Army. So every year on the 1st of January, they reenact the passing of the flag from white troops to black troops. And this is the first place historically that black troops were bivouacked. So it's not only a state historical site, but it's a federal historical site. And I would recommend anybody who could go down and experience this to make the trip down there just to look. And the cabin that Michigan adopted was King's Cabin. That's the cabin that Martin Luther King used to go to when he was strategizing, and he'd spend time there in South Carolina. St. Helena is what it's called.
St. Helena is the city? St.
Helena Island.
Oh, island. Oh.
Yeah. It's just, we're probably more familiar with Hilton Head.
Right.
You know, because the rich people have pretty much
and
got
changed the
that.
name.
But
Changed the name.
St. Helena is right there, and it's 60% of the landowners are from the original slaves that were freed, and the land was given to them.
I want to ask you, sir, I'm going to try to put you on, lock your number in here so that we can continue our dialogue, because we have other callers who have called.
Yeah.
So if this drops, please call back, but I'm going to do what I think the engineer taught me to do and hope I get it right.
Okay.
Okay, we're locked in now. Thank you. And we do have a caller also. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please? Hello, caller.
Hello, my name is Laverne.
Thank you for calling.
I was trying to find out, I was looking at Professor Griggs. I think his name is Griggs.
Yes. What?
Yeah, Professor Griggs, pictures on TV.
Oh. Oh, okay. I got you. Professor Griggs is a guest of ours sometime, Laverne. Well, this morning we have a technical issue, but we are live, so if you have a question or information you'd like to share, the guest who is on with us is Payimba. As a matter of fact, he happens to be the brother of the last poets. What's his name?
David.
David is one of the last poets, and Payamba is his brother. He's been here with us before. And we wanted to talk about some of the creations and inventions by the Africans on the continent, as well as getting information by the African Americans here in this country. Too often, we are given a warped view of the continent of Africa, and it's not backwards the way we are encouraged to believe. And there's a lot of ingenuity, creativity, intelligence, et cetera, that comes from the continent. So we just wanted to share some of that.
Okay, because I found it very interesting that most things that I've been taught most of my life, and I'm in my 70s, that it's a lot. They've taken it and twisted it, and I found a lot of the beauty products.
Mm-hmm.
They go to, a lot of the stars now are going to Africa to get the minerals, and then they're coming back and then selling and making them a more fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even mention that it comes from a native person or an African person, and then they bring it back to America and make a fortune off of it.
Yes,
And I
they
think
do.
it's ludicrous.
Yeah.
And another thing is that I was wondering, do they have any books on what they call e-books, that if you don't want to read, can you listen to it? Is there a website where we can go, and for people that don't like to read a lot, they can at least listen to the book?
Oh, you are so right. You're so right.
And I would like to, I found that out. I didn't buy Mrs. Obama's book, but I did have the e-book, and and she talks all about the book, and it's being fed to you instead of reading it.
Mm-hmm.
I can listen to it, and I'll find that you can educate yourself in many ways, because so many things have changed since I was a child.
That's true.
And I look at the society the way it is now, something's got to change.
Yes.
But thank you for taking my call, and I appreciate it. And
Oh,
maybe I can get some feedback on some of that information.
Oh, sure. And there are books on CDs today as well that
Okay,
you can get and
CD.
play on your CD. Oh, yes. You can play
Okay.
them on your CD player. Absolutely.
Okay.
The main library has some, as well as bookstores sell them. Okay.
Okay. Is there a black library in the city of Detroit? I know that they're trying to black me down. I think they closed their bookstore. Is there another black bookstore in the city of Detroit?
There is a lady who had Truth Bookstore at Northland. Northland has been torn down, but she goes to Northwest Activity Center. Is it once a month?
Okay, I'll
I'm
check
not
with
sure
them.
when, but
She's
there.
yes. Call Northwest Activity Center and find out what days she is there. Her name
Okay.
is Nefertiti. She sets up and sells her books right from Northwest Activity Center.
Okay, I'll call over there and
Oh,
have
okay.
information.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. All right, Payamba.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Where do we leave off?
I don't know, but I was thinking you were talking about little known Black history facts,
Yes.
and there's an interesting. I carry my little book around with little known Black history facts because
Okay.
I've created it over the years.
Uh-huh.
And one of the characters that I have in it is Cornelius Henderson.
Cornelius
And-
Henderson.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cornelius L. Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
He was an engineer, structural engineer. He graduated from the University of Michigan in 1911.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, he obviously he couldn't get a job in the United States because he was black.
Yeah.
So he went across the bridge. He went across to Canada
Uh-huh.
and got a job over there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was instrumental in the construction of the Ambassador Bridge and the Windsor Tunnel. And when I tell black people that, they've been so conditioned that they don't say, "Oh boy, that's great" or "That's good." They say, "I'm not riding over that bridge anymore." Now that I know a black
Wow.
man has something to do with it.
That
And I
is so
said, boy,
sad.
that is so.
That's sad.
Yeah, it
That's,
is.
that's
I mean, but
pathetic.
that's how we have been conditioned to hate ourselves. You know.
Mm-hmm. And
We
not to understand the perfection with which our people are able to perform.
That's right. You know, we undermine every accomplishment. You know, and even when the slaves or the white people recognize that they generally steal the invention and take credit for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Ben Lloyd,
Thank
and
you for
I'm
calling.
reading to Comcast 91.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Ben Lloyd, Theo. I watching the program, and I wanted to ask the professor regarding this notion of post-traumatic slave disorder.
Oh, Lord, we do have one. And we're going to have him on to talk about it. Being the picture of Professor Griggs is up, but Thabiti, my co-host, and I are here live today. He sat in for us last Monday. And the guest that we have today is Payamba. And we are actually talking about creations, inventions, etc., that were actually done by Africans on the continent. We hear a lot about what has been given here, but the perception of the continent is that they're still backwards, and that's just not true. So he's sharing information about that. Can you hear? Can you hear us at all?
No, I'm just hearing Professor Griggs expound on.
You hear him?
I see him too.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I thought.
Yeah, well, we definitely have a technical difficulty.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
So,
do. You know.
Hopefully by 5 o'clock this afternoon, the rebroadcast will be a first broadcast.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'll be looking for it.
Okay.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good.
Uh-huh. All right. Okay. Payamba? Payamba? Did we lose him?
No.
Oh.
Hello, sir.
Payamba? Uh-oh. Can you unlock him and talk to him?
Okay, let's try this. Hello, Payimba. Okay, it still shows that we have him on our thing. I don't know if there's something that happened in between. One of the things I like to share real quick as we try to regain our guests is that the images, as Theo said, we see children with flies around their face, bloated bellies, no hair, that type of thing. And actually, there are cities in Africa, different parts of Africa, that are more advanced than we have here in America. When I say that, we look at Lagos, Nigeria, Accra, Ghana, and there are other major cities within. I think we have our guests back. Hello?
Yeah, I got dropped.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, yeah, we want to pick up where we left off with the, like you were mentioning, Mr. Cornelius Henderson. And one of the things that Theo wanted was like the images that we see of Africans now. We generally see children with bloated bellies, flies around their face, which is, I think, a great mass disinformation campaign to make Africa still seem primitive and third world when, as I was mentioning just a moment ago, there are cities like Lagos, Nigeria, Accra, Ghana, who are even more advanced in terms of their metropolitan and city areas than we are. So maybe, we can give just a little light on that, and then we can get back to other contributions.
You mentioned Lagos, and it's the most populated city in Nigeria. It's the second fastest growing city in Africa and the seventh in the world. The population of Lagos, according to Lagos state government estimates, is 21 million. You know,
It's a big
now,
city.
and I mean that that boggles the mind when you tell people about African cities. They're expecting to go over there and see some grass huts and some natives running around, you know. But here's a city that has 21 million people, which is the second fastest growing city in Africa and the seventh in the world. You know.
That's an incredible thing, and it's unfortunate that we also, you know, those who don't have social media skills perhaps don't know that there are truly advanced, extremely advanced, not only the cities themselves, but the populations within those cities. I've seen many things on YouTube and other formats or platforms where there's a lot of engineers. There's a very technically based population in some of those major cities of Africa. Again, they with their misinformation campaign will only show things to make you think, well, if you send $1 a month, that kind of stuff. So, and I just felt like it was critical that we know that we'd be better off there than here in some cases.
Exactly. Actually in my travels to Ghana, that's where I have gone extensively, and Ghana created a situation called Bihankra. Most people aren't familiar with Bihankra. It's having its problem right now, but the concept is great. They gave us 56,000 acres of land. They gave us a throne, and they gave us a connection back to the land through this throne, and it was called Bihankra. And they want us to come back to help them get the resources that are in the ground. Africa is just rich with resources.
Yes.
For us to help them get them out of the ground so that the continent could thrive. You know.
Wow. Well, there's so many advances there. There's an African who is a billionaire, like in the neighborhood of 25 billion, but there's no conversation about, you know, anyone being advanced, progressive, or doing anything creative. They want us to believe that all of the inhabitants over there are just illiterate and any other ear that you can think of, so that we won't want to go there and collaborate.
Right.
Currently,
There's a young man forming a trip right now to go to Ghana to establish a health and wellness tour. And John Sally is instrumental because he's into holistic health and wellness.
Yes.
And this trip is going to take place April 23rd to May the 3rd. I'll send you a flyer.
Oh, okay. You know, and there's another young man who is teaching young black males about coding and all of the other operations on the computer. Playing games on the computer may be nice, you know, but learning how it works, being able to program it, being able to repair it, to build one, etc. And it just so happens that my grandson got into a program that a young African American man is sponsoring, and he's taking 20 young black teenagers to I don't know that they're going to Ghana, but they're going in July.
Oh.
And this is at the end of a program that he has been teaching them all along. Last year, started early last year. And there are many good opportunities for our young people to travel to the continent.
Exactly,
But
and
they're not-
learn the real truth.
Yes,
And once you
yes.
get over there, one of the things that just hits you right away is that black people are running everything. And we're so used over here to seeing white merchants, and we're only the consumers, you know. And you get over there and see them in all areas, all
Yes.
positions, you know, political, cultural, you know,
Oh,
entrepreneurial.
you just don't know how wonderful it makes you feel.
Yes.
In the early 70s, my husband and I traveled to the Bahamas, and the airline was Bahama Airways. It was a beautiful, sleek plane. Everything on it was African American. The flight attendants, the pilots, and they looked good. They were just walking with pride, and it made you feel proud to be able to be on an airline with people who look like you, taking care of business.
Well, even the pilots, you know,
Oh
because
yes, oh yeah,
Africans,
they look good.
and this is why they keep trying to perpetrate this lie that we can't handle whatever it is. And strangely enough, you know, even Hidden Figures showed that we were instrumental in the rocket program with in a capacity that had to do with math.
Oh yes,
All
first,
of the women that were called computers back then,
right.
they
Well,
were black, and they were
exactly.
dealing in higher math.
Right, and very much instrumental in the first landing on the moon, the first
Exactly.
landing, and you know it's sad that people are so jealous in the European community that they don't want our young people to compete. Is really what the issue is, and that's why here in the city of Detroit, the school on the east side, Benjamin Davis Aerospace School,
Uh-huh.
produced black airline pilots as well as mechanics. So what did they do? They just shut it down.
Right.
Who wants black pilots? You know. So
Well,
anyway,
the Tuskegee Airmen showed them the value of black pilots.
yes, sure did. Saved all them white butts. Yes, they did.
Oh, and one other thing, I'll mention, I'll throw a plug in for myself.
Absolutely.
I teach kids to do minor electrical repair. I've been doing it for 40 years. And one of the things that I teach during the course is high math skills. I also teach them a binary system, which is the language by which the computers speak to each other. So, it's a 12-week course. It's free. And some of my students have gone on to do pretty great things. So Dr. Zarif has been on your show.
Yes, it's
He was
been our
one of my
guest.
former students.
Yes.
And lately, Tracy Green has just become a judge in the 3rd District Court.
I have a quick question. What is there a contact number? Because when you mentioned that, if there's young men that I know and women who would be interested in that, is there a way that they can contact you so they can become part of the program?
Yes, they can reach me on my website. Is the one Pyemba@yahoo.com. That's the THE, the numeral 1 Pyemba at Yahoo.
Could you spell that?
The THE, the number 1, P as in Paul, I as in ice, E as in echo, M as in Mary, B as in boy, A as in apple, at Yahoo.
Okay.
At yahoo.com.
Thank you.
Oh, great.
And the class,
Yes.
I've been doing it for 40 years, and a lot of my students have gone on to do really great things. One of my female students, she actually set up the sound systems for President Clinton and traveled in his cadre to Turkey and Russia.
Oh, wow.
Just because of her. And one of my students actually is a master electrician. He's working on Fort Meade, Maryland right now. and I've got two full-time students who are workers for Michigan Bell because my career employment was at AT&T, and they used to support what I was doing, and then they gave me summer jobs for my kids, and two of the young ladies that got jobs back then are getting ready to go. They're at retirement time. They've been working 33 years now.
Wow.
So they can both retire. One's working as an inside tech, and one's working as a pole lineman.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. And I know that you're proud of the students that have gone on to be successful from your tutelage. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and it makes you feel good. And you think that they would just leave and go, but they've all pretty much stayed in my life. And so I have, as an unintended consequence, an extended family.
All right. Okay, now, it unfortunately is, we're at the end of our program, but we do want to have you back again at your leisure time. Thank you so much, Pyamba. And the information that you have shared has enlightened us and all of those who have tuned in.
Oh, I appreciate you having me on the show.
Sure.
And
All
looking
right.
forward to visiting you again.
All righty. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much for tuning into Feedback. You know, at the end of our show, we say it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We at Hood Research continue to seek out as much information as we can to share with you, encourage you to share with us as well, to help us all make better informed decisions.
If you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you finish. Self-knowledge is the best knowledge.
All right. If you want to call, it's area code 248-234-2371. Area code 248-234-2371. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in again next week. Peace.